Hey guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2016. I'm going to be basically telling you in this video just some little things that I'd like to do throughout this year, some bookish goals that I have. I mean, you know the drill. Everybody does this kind of video. And I don't know how strict all of this kind of stuff is going to be. I just want to tell you where my mind is at right now and related to bookish things and where I want it to go this year as far as I am right now, as far as I feel about things right now. I mean, I'll just start off saying as a little wrap up of 2015, it was a really, really weird reading year for me because I came off of 2014 when this huge wow, I read a lot of physical books. I read so much. I read a lot all year. I read a lot of really big books. I just sat down and read for hours and hours and hours. And I was assuming that I was just going to kind of go in through 2015, and so I had all these huge plans. I was going to read the entire Malice and Book of Fallen series the entire year, try to read the whole Wheel of Time series, just try to read all this stuff, all these really big things, the way I was doing in 2014, but it didn't really happen, and I've explained why that is, and you've kind of seen why that is throughout last 10 or so videos that I've uploaded, and it's totally cool. It's not a big deal because I still read 121 books this year, but the thing is that only 26 of those were physical books. That's really low considering how many physical books I read the year before that, and considering the total that I ended up with at the end of the year. And I mean, I've said this a couple times in a couple videos that I read a lot of audiobooks, listened to a lot of audiobooks, because just the jobs that I've been having have allowed me to do that. I just basically listen to whatever I want to when I'm working, and sometimes it's audiobooks, sometimes it's movies, sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's just whatever I'm feeling like, and a lot of the time it was audiobooks. So I listened to 95 audiobooks last year, and it was a really cool experience. As someone who's never really listened to audiobooks before, 2014 was the first year that I ever listened to audiobooks, and it was towards the end of the year, and I had only listened to a couple before the end of the year, maybe 4 or 5. So I mean, just imagine what I could do, how many books I could read if I actually read physical books alongside that amount of audiobooks. And that's what I'm going to kind of try to do this year. I mean, if I don't read as many physical books as audiobooks, if I don't read as many audiobooks as I did last year, if I don't end up reaching the goal that I want to, which is 150 books on Goodreads, then that's whatever. It's not a big deal. But I do have a lot of physical books that I want to read. Now, I'll get to that in a little bit, what books that I specifically think I might want to be reading this year. But first, let's start with Booktube. Booktube was a really huge relief and just really big, nice thing that I did a lot in 2014, and it really helped me, and I really loved doing it, and I really loved doing all the videos that I did in 2015. I feel like I might be reading enough that I might be able to do a bi-weekly wrap-up kind of thing, so every 2 weeks or so. I'm not gonna ask you to hold me on that, but I feel like I might be reading enough to do that. We'll see, and that might be something that I feel like I want to do this year. And with the videos that I'm making, I kind of want to post more reviews. Specifically, I didn't post any reviews in 2015, which is crazy because I did a lot of them in 2014, and they were one of my favorite videos to do. And I know they don't get as many views as other videos, at least not right away. I have noticed though that the longer it's out, the more reviews it gets, and a lot of my reviews have a lot of views now because of how long they've been on the channel, and that's pretty cool. Those tend to get more views over the long run than any of the other videos, which is a really interesting thing that I've just kind of paid attention to recently, because I've kind of gone back and looked at some of my old review videos because I really like them. A lot of my old review videos are some of the videos that I was the most proud of, the videos that I liked the most when I made them, both when I made them and now going back and looking at them. I don't know, I feel like I did a decent job at doing reviews, more so than I have been, and that's mostly just because the format of a wrap-up, I can't really say all that much without it being too long, and that's fine. I'm still going to do monthly wrap-ups or bi-weekly wrap-ups or whatever it happens to be, but I would like to do longer reviews, and maybe if I do the bi-weekly thing, that'll kind of help me to do a little bit longer reviews, spend a little more time with each one. I don't know, we'll see, but I kind of like the idea of having a separate video review for certain books that I really enjoy or just really want to review, because that's what people look for when they're Googling for a book review on YouTube, and they see blah 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 book review, Infinite Jest book review or House of Leaves book review. Those are two of my most viewed videos because I think I did a fairly good job of reviewing them, and they just show up immediately when you search for those things. So having that on there, I don't know, it would be cool to start doing that again. And actually that's kind of scratched something I said just now. I did make a review thing in 2015, but it was like on the full series of the Dark Tower. It was the full Dark Tower series review. So that wasn't necessarily one book, but it was kind of a really in-depth review, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of review video that I want to make more of, because that video was really good, in my opinion. I really liked it. And I'm going to be, like, breaking up my... I think it's one thing that, like, I kind of got burnt out on filming and editing booktube videos, and that was the only thing that I was working on, like, video-wise. And I think now that me and Giselle started a vlog channel, like a daily vlog channel, or filming just tiny little clips of our life every single day and putting them together and putting them on a daily vlog channel. And that's really fun, and it's kind of breaking up the booktube filming and editing, because this is nice and everything. Like, I set up my camera and I make it all nice. I like use this nice camera and I go ahead and edit it and like pay attention to what I'm saying and I try to make it somewhat nice and decent and all that. And I'm still doing that with the vlog, and like I still want it to be nice and decent and really good, and like I want it to be a good video, but I'm not really paying as much attention to it, and it's kind of nice, and it's really quick and easy and fun. I don't know, I didn't stop because I wanted to stop. I stopped because I just didn't necessarily have the content to do so or the time to do so. So anyway, on to like the content of what those reviews will have. Well, first of all, with Goodreads, like I said, I set my Goodreads goal to 150, and what I was doing in 2014 was I would write a lot of stuff for all the books that I was reading. Like, almost every single book that I rated on Goodreads in 2014, I posted like some sort of like mini review on Goodreads. I wrote out something, and I kind of want to get back more into doing that. It's not going to be an every book kind of thing. It might be kind of short, a lot shorter than it was in 2014, but I'm still gonna hope to write a little bit more for each thing instead of just putting the rating down and just moving on, because I feel like in 2015 something really cool has happened where I've become a little bit more critical with my rating than I have been in the past. I hardly rated any books 5 stars in 2015, and I haven't added a book to my favorite shelf on Goodreads since April, and that was, I think, the last book in the Magician's trilogy, and I guess I just haven't had a favorite book since then. I think I added like The Martian and the last book of the Magician's trilogy and a few other things earlier on in the year, but since then I haven't really added much else to that. It's not because I haven't read stuff that I like. I've been liking a lot of the stuff I've been reading, but almost all of it has been like 4-star reads. But I think that's mostly because I've been more critical about what I've been reading, and it hasn't been a conscious effort. Like, it hasn't been a conscious thing that I've been thinking about. It just kind of happened, and I think I would like that to sort of continue. I'm not going to be like super harsh with my judgments or anything. Like, I don't foresee myself giving out a lot of 3 stars. I don't even pick up books that I think I'm going to like give a 3-star rating to. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I get surprised and I don't like a book as much as I think I'm going to. But I'm pretty sure that I can at least be a little bit more conscious now of how I'm rating. And I mean, it doesn't really matter to me what I'm rating things, like the scale of what I'm rating them, as long as it makes sense in my brain when I'm doing it. And I feel like so far this past year and right now it is a little bit more critical than it has been in the past, and that's pretty cool. So I'm going to keep on going with that. And then going back to what I actually want to read this year, it's not set in stone, obviously. It shouldn't be. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I'm going to read for the rest of the year, because I can't really say where my mindset's going to be in like 3 months, let alone 10 months or 11 months or 12 months. So I really don't know what I'm going to be reading throughout the year, but I'm going to give you an idea of what my mindset is right now, where I think my mind is, where I would like to be, and what I would like to read, like what I'm thinking of right now. And what I've been in the mood for the past like 6 months, what I've mentioned a ton of times, is mysteries and like crime, detective, mystery, those kind of elements where there's like some sort of mystery to solve. And like, I guess I've just been really craving that recently, reading something where I have to kind of figure out what's going on, and I'm kind of left clueless throughout most of it, and then there's like a twist, and like I really am enjoying that kind of thing right now. And that's kind of where I see myself continuing to be. Maybe I'll completely fall out of that by next week, but I don't see it happening. And I have several things right now that I like plan on reading, but I mean, I have like lots of Agatha Christie to read. I have the rest of the Dublin Murder Squad series to listen to. And yeah, I think what I mostly am mentioning this for is because I kind of want some more suggestions of things that I haven't read yet. But also, I have this craving for things that are like that, but have mixes of like sci-fi and fantasy mixed in with them. So like, crossovers between like mystery or like crime detective, mystery, thriller with sci-fi or fantasy. And if you guys have any like idea of what I mean, then, and any idea of like some books that could fit into that, then please tell me, give me suggestions. I'm like, I really want to know some suggestions for that, so I can like really look into them and give them a shot. That's really what my mood is going towards right now. And then I've also had this craving to reread a lot of things, like the whole Pendragon series. I'm pretty sure I'm going to reread the entire Pendragon series this year. If you don't know the Pendragon series, it's about this kid who like goes through time and space, through all these different like planets, not really planets, they're called territories, like through these magical portals and stuff, and it's like it's really fun, and I really love it. Each book takes place on like a different territory, and for some reason I just really love that a lot. I love being able to spend each book in a different place with like basically a different cast of characters each time, but within like a solid core cast of characters that like jumps from world to world or whatever. And there's like there's a solid cast and then revolving cast like as the series goes on, and I really like that a lot, and that was one of my favorite series of all time. Like it always has been. I've reread that series many times, if I haven't done it for at least like 4 or 5 years. I don't know when the last book came out, but I think the year after that book came out I reread the entire series all the way through. I read the last book when it came out, and the year after that I read the entire series all the way through, and I don't think I've reread the whole thing since then, or I haven't read any of the books since then, so I'd really like to do that. And I really like to reread the Harry Potter series. Giselle and I ordered the illustrated Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone edition on Amazon, but they're like out of stock or something right now, or have been for a while, so we have no idea when we're going to get it. I might read that when it comes, or I might not wait and just read it anyway. Or we might listen to it, because Giselle listened to all of them when she was young, and like the Jim Dale audiobook versions, and I've never listened to them before, so I think it would be fun to do that. And I'm also seriously considering rereading Mistborn, which is kind of hilarious. The next Mistborn book comes out at the end of January. I'm gonna read that when it comes out, but I honestly might reread the entire thing from beginning to end again before the end of the year. Maybe kind of soon, like within the next couple months, just because I've been kind of craving it, and it was one of the best reading experiences I've had in a really long time, and I kind of want to relive it. I feel the same way about The Lies of Locke Lamora, but I don't think I'm going to do that, mostly because I think I can wait until the 4th book comes out this year, and I don't know if once the 4th book comes out this year, if I'm going to be in the mood to reread them all, if I'm going to be in the mood for rereads at all. I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for when that book comes out, like midway through this year or something. So we'll see when that comes, but I'm just going to say right now, I'm probably not going to reread that one, but I do really feel like rereading Mistborn. And there's just a whole bunch of other things I want to read this year. Like, I said last year I wanted to read the Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I never did. I read the first one, and started reading the second one, and never got through it, or the rest of them, obviously. So I would really like to get into those and read all of those. At least get through some of them this year. I would really like to finish the Song of Ice and Fire series. I only have one left, and I would really like to also begin, almost definitely not finish, but begin the Wheel of Time series. I really want to read more Stephen King that I have. I just got a bunch of Stephen King books, and I showed that in my end of 2015 book haul, which I just uploaded on my channel last week, and I showed a ton of Stephen King books, a lot, and I really want to read at least some of them, if not all of them, because I want to be able to say that I've read all of Stephen King's books, and I can't do that if I don't make a conscious effort to like read a bunch of his stuff throughout the year. And I know that I have a bunch of his stuff that I've never read before. I can easily do that. And speaking of Stephen King and rereads, I also kind of want to reread 11/22/63. I've reread that book I think 2 or 3 times, and I've loved it every single time. It's amazing, and I kind of want to reread it before I watch the TV series that they're coming out with for it. It has like James Franco in it and stuff, and like J.J. Abrams is producing it, and I'm super excited for it. I really hope it's good. And then just some more stuff that I would like to read is, like, I want to read the rest of Dennis Lehane's books. I have a few more books by him that I haven't read yet, including like Shutter Island, which is like my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. I would really like to read the Percy Jackson series. Giselle just got that for Christmas, and I'm going to steal it and read them all, and I would really like to do this year because I've never read them before. And just some more authors that I would really like to look into, like are like Mercedes Lackey, who me and Giselle have a bunch of books from. There's just one specific trilogy that I think I would like to start reading very soon. I want to read some Robin Hobb, and I want to read, sorry, I just have this like list here of things that I want to get into. I want to read some like N.K. Jemisin and Margaret Atwood. Those are just like some fantasy, some SFF authors that I would really like to get into. And then like China Mayville is an author I really want to get to this year. I really want to read The City and the City, which I actually have, and I also have Perdido Street Station, and I think he's an author that I'm really going to like. So he's one that I really, really want to read this year, and hopefully soon. And then there's more. I want to read more sci-fi. I have a really big goal to read more sci-fi this year. I don't know exactly what yet. I have a bunch of sci-fi like on my shelf right now. And I mean, there's other sci-fi obviously that I could read. I think I should finish reading the rest of the Old Man's War trilogy by John Scalzi and the rest of the Hyperion series, Hyperion Cantos, whatever it's called, by Dan Simmons. I read the first one last year and really liked it. And I would really like some more suggestions if anybody has those. And just some more authors that I have written down are Guy Gavriel Kay is a fantasy writer that sounds really cool and really interesting. Like I want to finish the rest of Gail Carriger's series. Like I read all the Parasol Protectorate series this year. Really like to finish all the other ones. And then I want to read more classics like Charles Dickens and Jane Austen. I just read Pride and Prejudice this past year and really liked it. And would like to read more of her specifically and more Charles Dickens just because I have a bunch of his books on my shelf. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have written down. Other than all that, I think some other goals I have are to just, I want to write more. I have this book that I've been working on for a pretty long time now. Not way too far through it at the moment. I'm like 30 or somewhere in between 30 and 40,000 words. I handwrite everything. Like I am handwriting this book, and I think I'm somewhere in between 30,000 and 40,000 words. That's a really broad range, but it's somewhere in there. I think it's going to be around 90,000 words is what I'm guessing, and I really like how it's going. I really like it a lot, and I would really like to finish that very soon and hopefully do something with it. If you guys have any suggestions for anything I mentioned in this video, anything that you think I might like, please let me know. I would love to hear it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later with more.